Yo my friends, welcome back to another Will Photo video. Thank you so much for clicking on another video. I appreciate it so much. Today, I have an editing tutorial for you. I have had a few requests on some photos and I decided to choose this photo. So we're gonna do a before and after editing tutorial, and I'm gonna show you how to take this photo and turn it into this photo. So stick around if you wanna see that. I'm gonna take you through my Lightroom process, then we're gonna jump into Affinity Photo and show you how I remove stuff and clean things up. Before we hop into that, I do wanna say my store is finally up and running. I've had it down for a while because I was switching website providers. So my store is back up and you can go get some prints. This is an 8x10 print, not too expensive, something you can just put up on your wall. You could frame it if you would like, nice quality. So new prints are up on the website, along with finally I'm able to release my shirts. I had a problem a while ago when I wanted to do them right when COVID started. Now they're perfect. They're running perfectly. The orders get fulfilled in one day and then they get shipped out. So if you want a shirt and you want to get it quick, go order one right now on my website. The link is down in my bio. There is 6 different colors, all types of sizes, anything for your needs. Its editing is powerful with a Will Photo logo on the back. I guess without further ado, let's hop into Lightroom. Alright, so we're in Lightroom right now, and this is the raw photo. This is the photo that we're going to edit. This is the edit that we're going to do. First and foremost, we're going to go to Profile, and we're going to go to Camera Clear. It turns the shadows down a lot, but we're going to go and fix that as we move on through this edit. So the next step, we're going to bump the exposure up to 0.25. That's what I had it on this last edit. Where the bigger changes are going to start to come, you're going to see in the highlight, shadows, whites, and blacks. So let's do those right now. Highlights are -91. You can see now as we turn up the shadows, you can see more of the wheel. So we'll go up to 68. Whites we are going to move up to 37, bring some brightness into this photo. And blacks are gonna go down to -34, and what this will do is just even out the shadows and make them look a little bit better. So now you can see, here's the before and here's the after. We turned up the brightness a little bit, and you can see in these shadows a little bit better. Next, we're going to move on to texture and clarity. I usually bump these up to like 15 or 20 depending on the photo. So this photo has quite some noise, and we're going to go down and fix that right now. So we're going to go all the way down to detail. I'm going to turn the luminance up quite a bit, get rid of that, and just sharpen it up just a tad. So now you can see it's looking a little bit better. Here's the before and the after. We also want to make sure that we turn on profile corrections. What this will do is take away the distortion that the lens creates. So right now you can see this was shot on the Sony FE28-70 G Master. And if I turn that on, it gets rid of the distortion. Here's another before and after. So let's go right back up to the top. Right now, here's the before and here's the after. Now the photo's pretty much exposed to exactly how we want it. I need to turn the vibrance down just a tad. So we're going to go to -6. And next we're going to hop into the tone curve. Just because I've already edited this photo and I know what this tone curve should be, I'm going to paste the settings in here. And you can see I basically do an S curve. It's a slight S with 4 points. You can mess around with the highlights, the mid-tones, and the shadows in here, and just dial them in perfectly. Alright, the next step in this editing process is coming down to hue, saturation, and luminance. These are the HSL sliders. I didn't mess with anything in the hue sector. We're going to go down to saturation. In saturation, we're going to turn the aqua down to -68, and we're going to turn the blue down to -73. So at about this moment, you're probably like, oh my god, where'd all the blue go? How are we going to get that back? Just continue to watch, and I'm going to show you how I added that blue, like night stormy vibe in just a second. So we are not done with the saturation sliders yet. We're going to turn the yellow up to 45 and the green up to 33. Here's the before and here is the after. I took out that blue, but we're going to add it back in a second. Now we're going to go down to the luminance section. I'm going to turn the yellow luminance up to 34, the green up to 24. Right here is where we're going to get some blue back. We're going to turn the aqua down to 47, -47 that is. And we're going to turn the blue down to -31. You can see some of the blue starting to come back. So here's the before and here's the after. This is the photo that we're working towards. Now, we're not too far off, but we do have some work to do. Next, we're gonna move down to split toning. This is where you can manipulate your highlights and your shadows. We're gonna put the hue at 215 and put the saturation at 14. This is gonna add some blue into our highlights. Now we're gonna go down to the shadows. Our hue is going to be 52, and that will be a yellow. And our saturation of this hue will be 12. Right here we have the balance slider. This will control if the highlights take over the photo or if the shadows take over the photo. We're just gonna move it to the right slightly at 4. Here's the before and here's the after. We already did detail, we already did lens corrections. We will straighten and crop the photo later. Now we need to go down to camera calibration. First we're gonna start with the blue primary. We're gonna go all the way down to -45. You can see this will add some blue into the sky and make it like a nice aqua blue. Now we're gonna go down to the saturation and turn it down to -13. Whenever I use camera calibration, I start with the blues and move my way up. So now we're gonna go to greens. The greens, we're gonna go +25 and turn the saturation down to -30. Here's the before and here is the after. Now you can see that the colors are not completely in there yet. There's still a lot that has to be done. Now that we've done all that, I'm gonna go back up to the white balance. Our temperature will be 6,450. You can see that that's gonna give this paint a nice pop. Before, after. And we're gonna put the tint at 23. You're probably saying, oh Will, where's all the color? Where's the blue? Well, here's the next step. We're gonna add some graduated filters. We're gonna pull one down from the top, and this will help us even out the sky. We're gonna turn the exposure down to -2.6. And we're gonna turn our highlights down to -34. Next, we're gonna grab another graduated filter and pull it up from the bottom. We're gonna turn the exposure just to -0.45. We're going to turn our highlights to -24. And we're going to boost up our shadows to 23. Next we need to crop this photo and straighten it. So I'm going to crop it to an 8x10. And I'm going to straighten it just a little bit. I'm going to straighten it to these to the center caps of the wheels, and that should be pretty good. There we go, now it's cropped. There is one last step that is going to give us this final blue color that we're looking for right here in the tone curve. You see these 3 dots right here? You got a red one, a blue, a green one, and a blue one. We're gonna go to the red one. I'm going to paste the proper settings in here, and that is going to give us our finished look. You can see right here we have 3 dots, and I haven't moved them much, but there is massive changes. So we can see that a lot of this photo comes from the tone curve. If I didn't use the tone curve, I probably wouldn't be able to create this. So here's with the tone curve off, and here's with the tone curve on. We used the normal tone curve, and we used this red one. And we were able to add some awesome colors to it. Now that the photo is done, we need to export it and pull it into Affinity Photo. So if you've never watched any of my videos before, my editing process goes from Lightroom to Affinity Photo. In Lightroom, I color grade the photo and make the photo look exactly how I want it to, and then I export it and put it into Affinity Photo and remove all of the annoying things in the photo. So let's jump into Affinity Photo. In my opinion, this process will separate you from all the other car photographers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in and basically remove everything that is distracting, every piece of crap that's on the car. We got some lights. I'm just gonna remove them. I'm using right now the in-painting brush tool. So I'm just gonna glide over the stuff that I wanna remove, and it's going to take it away. We see we have like this light post in the reflection. Remove that, and just go around and do that to the whole photo. You also want to check the street. When you're shooting rollers, there could be stuff on your sensor that will get picked up because you're going to be using such a high aperture. Luckily in this case, I was using a low aperture, so you're not going to see anything. Next, one of the big things with this photo is I remove these power lines. I hate having power lines in my photos. It takes time, but it is possible. So let's go through and do it. So you're just going to take the in-painting brush tool and paint these lines away. So you can see that the line just gets moved away and it blends in with the rest of the sky. Sometimes this gets difficult with rollers. The sky is moving, and depending on the clouds and the trees, sometimes it's extremely difficult to remove these power lines, and it takes time. If you use very small movements, you should be able to get through it and make it look as normal as possible. I'm not gonna go through the whole process of removing all those power lines because I've already done it, and this process is pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure you use the proper tools. If you go slow in small strokes, you will make it happen and it will look natural. If you try to do it all in one stroke, it's gonna look like shit. I hope you learned something. I feel like this editing tutorial was kind of shit. If you have any critiques as a viewer, I would love to hear them down below. How I can get better, what I'm doing wrong, what you would like to see, and what you would like to hear more information on. Please comment down below. I would greatly appreciate the feedback. If you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. If you want a shout out in my next video, comment down below that you did so, and I will give you a shout out on the whiteboard. I didn't have anyone to give a shout out to today. So if you comment down below that you subscribed and turned on post notifications, you'll be the shout out for the next video. If you want to buy a t-shirt, the link is down in my bio. Thank you all so much for watching and hanging out with me this Friday. I will see you next Friday. Keep shooting, keep spreading love and positivity, and I'll see you next week.